opt to go for was that Varus here. But definitely, I guess, something that they're going to be a little bit scared of. So not too surprised to see that here. And we'll see if it's going to be another marksman ban or just something else from the comfort there. Ultimately, Irelia is a 5th ban against ban LeBlanc. You know, some of these bans, again, if you're just tuning in, might not be making too much sense unless you know what some of these players' comfort is. It looks like Diamond, a Diamond 1 player here, has played a bunch of Nila. And so banning that away from them here seems to be the answer. But it looks like it might be actually Dorwe subbing in this evening for the marksman role, but also a big Nila connoisseur, also Samira, nearly 70% win rate. So it does make sense to take those champions off the table here. As an R4 pick, Sejuani being hovered and now locked in. This is signifying a very, very, very tanky first 3 members here. If Udyr does opt to go the demonic build into maybe a little bit of that Jack show that hasn't quite been nerfed yet. So we'll have to see if that is going to be the choice from Udyr. But with Maokai likely now filling out the support role, maybe Shyvana top lane. Shyvana's not a champion. I've seen a lot of play in the preseason here. It could be still something like Udyr top, Shyvana jungle. But now Ban LeBlanc has to come up with some answers that might have some penetration, some scaling. Gangplank fits that bill really, really well. And the last pick of a brand, that's going to give like 2 of these AP champs. Let's see what the last pick is. Here's Sivir locked in. Now that means Seraphine likely going to support lane with the Sivir, Syndra in the mid lane, Wukong jungle, and Gangplank top. Team Death Knight Blue has likely figured this out as well, so they get their pick of the litter. And we will have to see what they pick as their final response. There's still a little bit of flexible going on with this draft here. It looks like a lot of top laners are being hovered. You know, we've seen Aatrox, Cassante, the Jax. We'll see what is locked in. But Akshan the choice. Again, that kind of confirms my suspicions of seeing a Shyvana top, likely an Akshan going mid lane, likely into Syndra in this matchup, and then seeing Udyr jungle with Maokai and Varus in the bot lane. That's a lot of poke from those 2 champions here. So team compositions are finished for this first game. Both of these teams just starting to feel each other out a little bit, see what happens in this first matchup. Some low CC from some of these members here, both Shyvana and Akshan bringing ultimately 0 crowd control to their team. Udyr does have the bear stance, but we'll have to see if that is going to be the sort of response. You know, not a whole lot of CC, and if I look at Ben LeBlanc's side, you got to be a little bit worried of some of these beef boys if they get into this mid game here. Because who's going to be kind of shredding them? You know, there is some DPS. Gangplank does, like I said, does have some scaling options. But if we take a look there, Syndra's really great at blowing someone up, but typically squishies. However, you can't forget about Syndra's reworked ultimate here. After she gets all of her spheres and upgraded to 100 stacks, it is actually giving a 15% damage execution. So there is still an opportunity to actually still blow up some of these tankier members here. They have some more crowd control on their side with things like the Encore, the Seraphine Ultimate, Cyclone for Wukong as well. But other just kind of mobility options as well. Sivir's Ultimate on the hunt provides a lot of utility, but we'll have to see if that utility can translate in this mid-game and late-game team fights as enough to actually shred through some of these members, because they opted to not go something like a Vayne, some scaling like a Phelios, but instead to provide utility for the team. So Ben LeBlanc's ADC, I do expect to see a little bit more of that kind of play style for Tail Whip in this first game. It's going to be supporting some of these other carries, enabling Syndra and Wukong to try to get the picks and be the primary damage until Gangplank comes online. Another key piece to mention is not a big AP character for TDKB, that is a Team Death Knights Blue. Yeah, they have a Maokai that can build like a demonic potentially, as well as Udyr, so they do have magic damage. I don't want to discount that. Even Shyvana as well, very high magic damage with the Flame Breath. However, you don't have a true like control mage or AP damage champion there. As people are getting locked in, I don't know if they're an LCS order. This might mean something like Shyvana mid potentially. I haven't really been considering that even as an option. But seeing Shyvana now and again, as we're getting our draft in here, let's take a look, but has been the mid lane position that is locked in the Shyvana. So I don't know if that actually means it'll be a Shyvana or not. We will have to see if that is actually going into the mid lane to pair up against Syndra. I feel like Shyvana in the game plan is actually really strong because of Shyvana's Q. It gives 2 auto attacks, so you can actually burn the barrels really, really quickly. It can be challenging to support that. So this will be very interesting to see here if Shyvana is going to match up into the Syndra mid lane or instead go top, or maybe it's going to be a role swap here as well. Lots of still kind of question marks as we load onto the Rift for this first game here. Remember, this is a 2-block tonight, so no best of 3, just 2 games. It could be a 2-0, could be 1 to each team here. But as we are getting going and preparing ourselves to hit Summoner's Rift for this first game of the 2-block, I'm going to get a prediction going here to see who is going to win this first game in this best of 2 between Ban LeBlanc and Team Death Knights Blue. On the other side of a very short break, we will get into this first game, so get your channel points going, get your predictions rocking, and then we will see you in a moment for this first game of the night. See you in just a moment. We are getting onto the rift for game number 1. Thank you for your patience here between Team Death Knights Blue and Ban LeBlanc. So we are hitting the rift. It is time to make this first game happen. As I'm seeing, as the champions are loading in here, it is going to be Shri Sai actually piloting the Shyvana, and it does seem to be hovering around that mid lane. It does seem to be actually the Tranimal here playing the Gangplank top. So, and then Tank Muffin piloting that Seraphine support. Looks like that was that takeaway from Shrisai here. So they did have to pick that early, and now it is going to be played into the support role. So we'll have to see what that means for this early game. Let me pull up that scoreboard so y'all can see what starting items are happening here. Interesting to see the actual Doran's shield being the primary starting item for Shyvana in the mid lane, really trying to absorb some of that damage. So both these junglers, as we hit the rift, do seem to be both starting in the bot side of the jungle here. Nothing too surprising so far. Tail Whip and Tank Muffin both just taking a little bit of poke from Saber is Waifu Saplings level 1. Tranimal has opted to go mid. Again, I mentioned that Shyvana would be pretty good into Gangplank, so I find that interesting that they've opted to send control top lane, the Syndra into Akshan matchup. I guess they thought that, again, Akshan being that long-ranged marksman, can't do too much, or actually does really well, does really well. Gangplank cannot do much into the long-range marksman, but looks like neither can control, already taken a chunk of damage top lane. Shen does seem to go in, but can't get any more autos. And both these junglers now at 2:38 into the game seem to be going onto their top side. Okay, we'll have to see that. I expect to see a lot of action on the top lane. Both of these are high damage top laners. No tank first tank in this first game. So we'll have to see what that means when it comes to this jungle pressure, because typically junglers do want to play around these strongest members here, and that top skull is going to be high contention. Already Akshan, actually Shen's moving down here, maybe try and get a little bit of vision. Elysium is going to get spot out, does have smite, and I don't expect much of a contest. It is going to be taken away, but now controls move to the area. Shen's forced to escape. Udyr moving around, but Gangplank's going to be there first. Shen's a little bit of pickle, has to flash out. Elysium is following, but they don't have enough damage. Stun on Decipher. Tranimal is here. There's no move from Shyvana. It's a 3v2, but both players are just going to be able to walk out of here unscathed at 3:38 in this one. This does mean with that topside pressure, there's maybe a Scuttle Crab, but Shri Sai is here. Cypher Sword's looped. Tranimal forced to flash out. Now Elysium in trouble. No flash on him. Monkey Clone is going to get used, and so the bear stance is not going to land. But now flash forward, Shri Sai getting first blood on Shyvana in the mid lane. Wow, and that was not what I expected to see from this Shyvana in the mid lane, but early aggression, late move after getting the right lane state pushed forward. And now the Shyvana getting that first blood. I'll have to see what kind of build they go for and how they do want to take that early gold to the bank to start cashing in, building up some of these items. Just looks like just 4:30 now into this game. And Udyr has opted to get both Scuttle Crabs. Shri Sai under pressure now. Tranimal, one more Q will get him with the parlay. Goes out of door. We responded with the heal. One more auto will do it. Tank Muffin flashing forward. Tries to get the last auto. Will the Q do it? It does not. Summer spells used, but no blood in the bot lane. The Monkey King is down here looking for something, but unfortunately, these Scuttle Crabs are gone, but the Dragon is spawned. It's 5 minutes into this game, and now Tank Muffin and Elysium have just started up the Dragon with Tail Whip there as well. Yeah, you might not get both Scuttle Crabs, but Udyr back on that second rotation already. Clearing up topside is no play here. But take a look at that jungler differential. Because Cypher got both of those first Scuttle Crabs, as well as starting to farm that second rotation, it is 44% 24 CS right now to 23, nearly double Elysium's farm. But that Hextech Dragon has been claimed now. That's going to give their entire team 9 ability haste as well as 9% attack speed. So that is just a little icing on the cake here. Shen's in trouble. Control just needs one more Q. Will that last orb find? Doesn't even need it. The auto attack is enough. Dark Sphere land picks up the kill. Cypher Soul on to Control now. Control does still have the flash. Might have a way out of here. Flashes over there, but right into the waiting arms of Shri Sai. Control, not level 6, and is going to be hitting the gravestone. It's got a 1-for-1 trade after that exchange. Like that flash is going to get pinged out as well. So yes, Control getting the solo kill in the top lane, but Cypher Soul and Shri Sai able to respond. Yes, he got the flash and the blast cone, but it did not save Control from that certain death. Already 1,000 gold up right now for the side of Ban LeBlanc, and they seem to be off to a great start in this first game. And my mistakes, actually, Team Death Knights blue with this early advantage here. Apologize for that. This is Shri Sai, the captain here of Team Death Knights blue, who's taking an early advantage here over Team Ban LeBlanc. We're at the point of the game where some second spawns are coming down from jungle camps. Shen's with a comfortable CS lead even after losing the solo kill. The Monkey King will be hitting their sick rotation as well, but do not have the Cyclone available. Meanwhile, Wukong, happy to farm here, has picked up those Swiftness boots. The Boots of Swiftness already completed, as well as a Blasting Wall, and that's signaling to me that they're going to be picking up a Demonic Embrace early and be that tanky boy. Shyvana, I said that this team did not have a true AP threat, but Team Death Knights blue, they got an AP threat, that's for sure. Already a lot of AP completed here for Shyvana on that first back. Fiendish Codex and Amplifying Tome. Paired with the first strike damage that this Shyvana's got, this is not something I've seen very much. But already, I mean, yes, you're down some farm, but might be doing enough damage here in the later parts of the game with some great poke coming down. But that is right now the cost of the CS, and the Tranimal absolutely dominating this mid lane matchup here, getting quite a CS lead already, up nearly or just over 30 or 20 farm here, 22 CS here, but the kills are in Shri Sai's favor, so that gold is pretty evened out. But again, Shri Sai looking to scale. But if you're giving Tranimal the free scaling, Gangplank knows what to do with gold. This is a champion that thrives when they start getting a few items here. The Navori's is so strong on them. Cypher Soul is up a level, and now Elysium is trying to fight. Does have the level 6 in the Cyclone. Here comes the Cannon Barrage. Cypher Soul forced to run, but Shen's is jumping in. Flash out from Elysium. Flashed forward from Shen's, picking up the kill. Now Shri Sai using that great dragon here. Tranimal trying to chase, but Shri Sai's around. Shen's able to run it out, and Cypher Soul just going to pick up some of these berries. And it ultimately just a 1-for-0 with Elysium taking his second death of this game. Shri Sai trying to get a little bit of poke, but not going to be enough. Cypher Soul opting to stay on the map, so they get the kill, they get the Rift Herald. Yes, they lost the first dragon, but the Herald is their prize, and that's going to be some good gold if they can get that down on a tower here in the early game. Gotta really credit Dorwe here. This is a Platinum 4 marksman in the bot lane, coming in as a substitute off the bench for a Diamond ADC. Diamond 1 ADC is not playing this game, but Dorwe is absolutely taking it to Tank Muffin on the opposite side here. Or in Tail Whip. So Tail Whip looks like he's getting a run for his money. This Varus was a blind pick. Sivir was the response, but Varus is dominating this matchup so far. As we crest the 10-minute mark, up 26 farm in the bot lane. That first back looks like it will be the Serrated Dirk, but he is sitting on 1,300 gold for themselves, so we'll have to see if that first item mythic is going to be coming in soon. Meanwhile, lots of pigs onto the second dragon here, just 10 seconds until that hits the rift. Saber's waifu already just tossing those saplings there. Astronaut, Maokai just throwing them around, trying to get that control over the dragon area. And with this jungler on the bot side as well, and I mean, Elysium being 0-2, we'll have to see if there is a response from Ban LeBlanc. But with that Shyvana on your team, if y'all didn't know, Shyvana actually does more damage to dragons than anybody else in League of Legends here. An extra 20% more damage to dragon-type jungle monsters. So Shrisai, just by rotating here and getting a couple of rotations down, has easily secured the red team their first dragon of this game, being a mountain and responding to that first one that was taken from Ban LeBlanc. Oh, the unleashed power in the top lane. Shenz is playing with fire and Control strikes him down, picking up their second solo kill in this game, denying the wave and happily taking a reset from the top side. Oh, here comes that Nature's Grasp. Will it secure the target they need? The oranges will just get him out of there. No issues at all. Tranimal absolutely fine. Elysium seems to be hunting around. Tank Muffin is behind here. Here comes the encore. The charm is up. Saber's waifu forced to run. Flashes over the wall. That knockback kept them alive. At the cost of the flash, but 2 ultimates expended from the ultimate side. Dorwi now hovering around. Cypher Soul is going to drop this Rift Herald in the bot lane. Tranimal moving down to the party as well. All these members are down here. Ultimately, a numbers disadvantage for Team Death Knights Blue. Happy enough to take the crash and back out of there. Comfortable 2,000 gold lead this game for Team Death Knights. A bit of a reset. Idlo's going to be canceled by Elysium. Elysium does not have the flash available. The smite, likely not a dive. That'd be a little bit spooky if they're couldn't try to dive here. But top side, we didn't talk about any dive there. Shrisai looking to take the aggro. Does pick it up first. Flash from Control does not mean anything. Shrisai getting a comfortable dive in the top lane. Which is a great movement. Also burning Control's flash and picking up the kill for nothing. Crashing the wave. Shenz might not be able to get solo kills, but this is not a solo game. Getting that trade back was a great play for Akshan here in this 13-minute mark. Just 1 minute until plates fall. We'll have to see if any of these members commit to try to get more resources down on these towers. Elysium in the bot lane, the Ghost is used. Dorwi happy to walk out. Cypher Soul is matched, but here comes the Chain of Corruption. Cleansed away, and now they're forced to run. The Encore is not up yet. Neither is Cyclone. Elysium, you're in the wrong spot, buddy. This might be a gank, but you are going to be the one falling. Is going to go down. Saber's waifu picks up a second. Here comes the Nature's Grasp, but will die for it. Dorwi, one more auto, takes it down and gets the double kill. Tank Muffin forced to retreat under tower and safely farm under tower, but Dorwi, one auto, gets the last plate and an extra 175 gold into their pocket as the plates fall. Man, Elysium is trying to make something happen on this map, but every play is countered or does not work. Cypher Soul was there in the bot lane. 0, 0, and 5. 5 of 6 kill participation, the highest on their team, and Cypher Soul is making it happen in this jungle matchup, showing the power of the Udyr. Now with an item completed, Elysium is such on the back foot, needs to scale into these team fights where that Cyclone can be really, really valuable. Elysium down nearly 30 farm, down nearly 1,500 gold at 15 minutes. Just in the jungle position alone. Cannon Barrage response on the top side. Flash Verge for Elysium. He needs to make something happen. Control's going low. Does not have the flash. The tick ignite. Shenz picks up a trade. Dorwi now with the flash available, but no Ghost. Not going to be enough damage in the bot lane with the cleanse. And now Shrisai is here. Saber's waifu also behind, but no Nature's Grasp. Tail Whip does immune that with the shield. Oh, and Saber's waifu. Ping's going down on that W. Saber is waifu. That is a point-and-click twisted advance that did not point at the right target. Tail Whip escapes with their life because of it. But Dorwe dishing down the damage here on that Eclipse now completed. Has that objective bounty and is not the only one. Shyvana and Udyr. Oh, Udyr just lost it there, but Shyvana also sitting on 150 gold additional thing at the shutdown. But take a look around the map. Objective bounties are available 15.5 minutes in here. And the bounties are not going to be getting claimed here. The second Herald about to be completed by Cypher Soul. Both Heralds, one of the Dragons, a CS lead, and massive kill participation in this game. Cypher Soul seems to be running around this jungle matchup. Nature's Grasp back available for Saber's waifu. We'll have to see if that means there's going to be a play. But Alicia might be a little bit too far, bit off more than they can chew. Dorwe does not have the Chains of Corruption. Saber's waifu does not have Flash, but Elysian doesn't have the Cyclone. She's going to try to walk their way out, but a couple more autos will do it. Tank Muffin sniping that kill onto Saber's waifu on the Seraphine. Oh, but Cypher Soul setting up a bait of his own. Sit around here. 1Q is going to land a piercing arrow. Pierces through the hearts. 4 members from Band LeBlanc are down here, but Shri Sai has that Dragon's Rage, is going to use it now. Tries to get it down early. Look at that damage! Teleport now forced to match, but it might be too late. 2 members have fallen already, both to Cypher Soul. Tank Muffin, no mana, no health, no way to live. The bot from Shenz is going to take a 4th and a flash forward from Shri Sai. Control, not long for this world, not long for the Rift. A clean ace 5-4-0. In favor of Team Death Knights Blue in that skirmish. All 5 members played that amazing, but the damage that surprised me the most coming out of Shri Sai in that mid lane, 1 Flame's Breath from Shyvana, absolutely shredded through these untanky members. Just one of those, no way to stop that. That ultimate E from Shyvana did nearly 600 damage before resistances, and just an amazing follow-up from the team. Shen's getting a snipe, Tank Muffin no mana, no health, and just a clean sweep. Now nearly 7,000 gold advantage in this first game for Team Death Knights Blue. So if I'm looking at the side of Band LeBlanc, we got to think of a strategy, and we got to think it up fast. Elysium is not doing so great in this matchup. 1-4 across the board. The teammates can't say you're doing much better. Control got 2 solo kills and has died 4 times since. Not looking great across the board, but Tranimal might be your hope. But Tranimal's going down low as well. A couple more autos will do it. But now Tank Muffin is there. Shenz does not get the autos, does not get the kill, does not get the damage. Forced to flash out, but the team is still here. You got to say there's nowhere to go, buddy, except the gray screen. Shenz is going to get shut down in the top lane. Control looking to get a kill, but does not have the upgrade. Saber's waifu. Oh! The Scorch proc takes Saber down. Couple of great response kills across the map from Band LeBlanc. They are gone, but not forgotten. Elysium trying to make something more happen mid. Even with all your members around, there is not a force available. Cyclone cannot get into any target. Control fishing out just a little bit with the Scatter of the Weak. If they can get a stun onto Dorwe, they might be able to pick up the kill. Dorwe has opted for the Flash and the Ghost, does not have a Cleanse. So critically, any of these hard CC abilities can do so much damage in these fights. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to lock down champion like Dorwe, who's 2-0-4, an item and a half completed, or the Shri Sai, also no way to escape any hard CC here and is going full glass cannon with all this ability power. We'll have to see, can the Scatter of the Weak, can the Encore land on the key targets? If Cyclone can knock them all up, a Shri Sai on the offensive. Elysium going in, but Shri Sai's holding off in the bush. Saber's waifu's around, but does not have the Nature's Grasp. They just want to siege the tower and not look for a fight. The Cyclone was used to no avail. Encore on cooldown, Cannon Barrage on cooldown, and critically, no members have lost yet. Really patient there from Team Death Knights Blue to not overcommit in that fight. Happy to just farm up and look to siege, but you're sieging into a Sivir. Tail Whip doing a great job at clearing out these waves, and even though they're behind, are not going to be able to have to give up any of these waves yet. because Tail Whip just farming it out there. That bouncing blade, that ricochet, the boomerang blade, Tail Whip happy to just trade farm, trade waves. That is a great response in Varus for that point, because it's really hard to siege when you have someone like Sivir that's just able to fully clear this wave in a couple of auto attacks. Looks like it's exactly what's going to happen. And if you're Ban LeBlanc, you're happy with just bouncing waves back. They did get a couple of key kills and brought the gold lead back. An advantage to them ultimately in these last couple of minutes of play. They're not online yet. They're not back into it, especially as we see second items now completed. This is a massive swing for Team Death Knights Blue as we see the Shadow Flame finished for Shyvana. The Jack Show now finished for Udyr as well. These are 2 items on your main players in this game. And man, if you are Ban LeBlanc, you gotta be scared. The Baron is getting started. Likely can try to turn off of it, but Control taking a chunk. They're trying to just get some vision, get some intel. But the blue ward looks like is gonna actually spot out that there's not a play going on over there. Farsight alteration used from the Tranimal. Now the focus for these teams is likely going to be at the Dragon. We see all the members now coming out of base for Team Death Knights, moving toward this bot side. That Dragon would be their soul point, their 3rd Dragon, their 2nd Cloud Dragon this game. That's going to give them an additional 7% out of combat movement speed, as well as another 7% slow resistance if they can get it. Might not seem like a lot now, but that's going to give them so much more ability to move around the map and evade these players from Ban LeBlanc. We'll have to see if Ban LeBlanc opts to fight this dragon or not. I don't think you can, though. You're down items. It's only 1 item finished for Elysium, only 1.5 for Tranimal. Cypher happy to go, wants to start it off. Chain of Corruption does land. Teleport coming in, and here comes the Nature's Grasp from the back end. Elysium tries to get something to happen, but they are not going to live for very long. Encore, all over to 4. Take Muffin, it's a massive ultimate, but Shri Sai still hitting the front line. No one has fallen yet. Great disengage here, but another one of those Shyvana E's has chunked them out. The Flame Breath is burning them to the ground. The flash forward, unstoppable for Shri Sai, and the tower's gone with it. Teleport forced to go defensively into the base. They got a kill as well as the outer tower. Will it be enough to stay for the Dragon? Saber's waifu was low. Shen's 223 also low. Cypher has a smite. They have a position on it, but will they try to fight? Ban LeBlanc is back 4 members strong. Shri Sai does not have that Dragon's Rage. It is secured from Cypher's Soul, their 3rd dragon now, and now Cypher's Soul is not long, is going to fall themselves. Cypher's Soul killing 1, a revive, and now this fight does still seem to be going in the favor of Team Death Knights. They're going to get a 2nd kill. Elysium tries to run 1 combo, 1 of Shen's might be enough to kill them, but they don't have the flash. They do have the Q, but it's not enough damage. 3rd member falls. Sivir as well. Tail Whip. 4 members dead. Control, the only one still on the map, and just recently respawned. But even though they tried to fight it, it was not enough, and now the Baron is going to be theirs as well. And Shri Sai trying to focus out Control. That's half your health bar and 1 Flame's Breath. 1 more will do it. Can Shri Sai land this last E? They want it, and it's an A. Shri Sai 2 E's absolutely shreds through Control. And it is Team Death Knights Blue in control of this game. Feels like from the very beginning, better rotations, better map movement, better farm, CS, and scaling, and they have absolutely dominated now. 24 minutes, 10,000 gold, 2 dragons up, and now that purple worm. It is an amazing lead for them. Elysium tries to do something bot lane, but you will not be able to kill Shri Sai here, buddy. Or Willie, it was enough actually shut down. I was wrong. Elysium might only have that Divine Sunderer, but Shri Sai was just hanging around for too long. And Shri Sai is going to get shut down. 1,000 gold to Elysium. That's going to catapult this monkey into their 2nd completed item next time they back now. Sitting on 1,600, 1,000 of which was from the Shri Sai shutdown. It's not enough, but it gets them going the right direction. The Dragon Soul is likely going to be the next fight for both of these teams. With 3 minutes to go until that one spawns, it does mean that the Baron will not be around their bodies. They will not have those added stats. It will expire by then in just about another 90 seconds. So that does mean, with this massive shutdown onto Elysium, with now 2 items completed with the Navori Quick Blades finished for Tranimal, we're starting to see some more damage being built up here. Tail Whip still short of their second item, looking like it's going to be a Last Whisper finished. But look at this, just a bit of a hideout here in that topside jungle. Oh, but Dorby getting chunked down. Will be enough damage. Dorby, 1 auto. That's all they need. Saber's waifu will be the sacrifice, though. The Chain of Corruption lands through, and Dorby escapes with their life. Burns the ghost, but does not burn that health bar all the way to 0. A great pickup for Ban LeBlanc. That's not going to stop the siege, though. Shri Sai going on the back line. 1E might almost do it. 100 to 0 Tank Muffin. The Ignite will burn them down. Shri Sai just chunking and taking names. Tranimal as well. Question marks across the rift. Looking at that Dragon's damage. Oh, Control! Getting flashed on from Shri Sai, but Shri Sai does not have the damage to make it happen. Yes, you're one strong dragon, but you are not invincible. But now, he might be the one getting caught out. Shri Sai does get locked up there. That is enough. Control wasting that ultimate on Shri Sai, but ultimately it means another death from this dragon. With the dragon itself hitting the rift in less than a minute, might be the opportunity to fight here, but Shri Sai picked up a needlessly large rod on the back, and they are not too far away from the death cap, which would spell disaster for any of these squishy members. Ultimately felt like a little bit of over-aggression or lack of respect from Team Death Knights here in this mid-game, because we still see Ban LeBlanc getting picks. They're still making plays happen across the map. 20 seconds to the spawn, and it does seem like Ban LeBlanc is going to jockey for position. Flash forward onto Dorwy. Here comes the Encore. It's not going to hit. Flashed away from Dorwy. They did not use an last exchange, and now Encore as well as Cyclone are down. Nature's Grasp is going to lock up the Wukong. Cypher Soul looking to disrupt here in this fight. Tranimal on the side. Elysium's getting low. Oh, but another great E and stun onto Shenz, but it's not going to be enough. Now Cypher Soul fighting this 1v5. Cypher cannot die, but now Shutdown give it a tail whip. The Dragon alive and most members are still healthy. You have the Seraphine to help you stay full health. That's a sustain that they got. Look at Elysium getting healed back up. Now a 5v4, but minions hitting the base in the bot lane. Shenz is sneaking around in the bushes. Shri Sai does have that ultimate once again. We know that that Dragon's Descent can descend upon it. They're not going to get over the wall, but look at that damage from the Flame's Breath. Now Shenz trying to get some more poke down. Just hovering around, landing Flame Breath after Flame Breath. Absolutely scorching these players of Ban LeBlanc. Tank Muffin more than half of their health. Yes, you have sustain, but what does it mean when there's a dragon roaming around? The dragon's still up. That cloud needs to be claimed to stop the soul. This would be the soul dragon. But now we see Cypher Soul coming back in. Saber's waifu wants to make it happen, but Dorby, no flash, no hope, no life. Shen's now stunned. That's his second kill. Saber's waifu might be dying too, but Cypher Soul is here. Back in full. Shri Sai gets a second. Cypher Soul now burning triple kill. Elysian. That's going to be a 1v1, but you do not win this, buddy. Cypher Soul, this fight is yours. Of ace and a quadra kill to the Udyr after that one. Technically unofficial. But Cypher Soul respawned in time and got back to that fight. Enough time was bought from Team Death Knights Blue to be able to hold that fight for long enough for Cypher Soul to get back into it. And now this Cloud Dragon Soul will be claimed from Team Death Knights Blue. the Dragon Soul and the Baron back on the map, I expect to see the red team just going up there and looking to close out the game with that final objective. However, all 5 members are going to be back on the map shortly from both teams. This could still be one more fight, and we have to see if Ban LeBlanc's team is strong enough in this next team fight to contest this major objective. Midori, crucially, no summoners. Tail Whip as well. Both these marksmen with no way to navigate around these fights. Treeside coming back with that dragon form, and that Dragon's Descent could spell disaster. Red team slaying the Baron, and now here comes that Nature's Grasp. There's the Dragon Descent falling down. Tail Whip already down. One member, Tank Muffin, forced to run. Cypher Soul fighting the other side of the fight, and Shen picks up Tank Muffin. A double kill now for Saber's waifu. Cypher Soul 1v3, does not care. There's the Chains of Corruption going to get another member's locked down. Trandimal and Legion forced to run, but Cypher Soul's running after. One more auto, one more falls, a second one. Now Treeside flashing over the wall, wants control. They have control of the game, but it is the player they want to kill. That is a great W there from Wukong, picking up the Twisted Advance on the right target this time to pick up the 5th and final kill. The inhibitor is falling, the players are in black and white, and this first game is surely going to get claimed from Team Death Knight's blue. Great performance, but ultimately that Udyr was unkillable. Tail Whip trying to hold on, but not enough. Shrisai, after a little bit of a shaky performance and losing a couple of kills, finished out cleanly with so much damage. And ultimately a first victory for Team Death Knights Blue in this first game in this best of 2 this afternoon. What a great performance. Remember, this is a 2-block, so this is not a best of 3, but both these teams still have an opportunity to either tie the series up or potentially for Team Death Knights to go 2-0. We'll have to see what happens in the second game, what draft adaptations will be made, what kind of compositions might be shaken up. We're going to take a quick break as we get reset for game number 2 of Style Esports Season 14, Team Death Knights Blue versus Ban LeBlanc. Quick first win to Team Death Knights. We'll see in a moment. Players are getting lined up for game number 2, and currently Team Death Knights Blue has this series advantage. Remember, this is a 2-block here. What's going on, Tiger? Thank you for joining us and hanging out. Thank you for all of you who have followed here. This is a 2-block again this evening, and players are getting in order and getting ready to hit the draft phase of the second game. We'll have to see what changes are going to happen in the second game. Because in that first game, the Seraphine was taken away from Sri Sai, but Sri Sai pulled out the Shyvana mid lane and absolutely dunked on that first game here. I am with you. TDK putting on a show in this first game. As players are getting into lobby and getting ready, we have our draft all set up. In this first game, it was close. I mean, honestly, props to Control, picking the blind Syndra and then going to Aksh on top and got a couple of solo kills in that last game. Like, big credit to them, but ultimately Shyvana on 3 items, hitting those flame breaths and just absolutely chunking all these members of Ban LeBlanc. Like, they had no way to absorb that pressure. Like, you got one spell shield on Sivir and everyone else was like less than 3,000 health, and man, Shyvana just tore through that team whenever they had that Dragon's Descent available. So, I mean, maybe Ban LeBlanc looks to pick up some kind of pseudo frontliner, even maybe a full tank frontliner. That might be in draft adaptation in the second game if TDKB is going to go into kind of a similar kind of style. I mean, but Team Death Knights, I would be very surprised if this is the only thing we see from them. Ban LeBlanc might have to go back to the drawing board on some of their bans. Maybe they try to take away the Udyr. That was kind of an instant pickup. Udyr and Varus, these first 2 picks in that first game, both incredibly strong meta champions right now. And we saw Udyr with that Jackshow Demonic became unkillable as we got into the mid game. So looks like some ready checks are starting to go in here. Maybe a little bit of a different actual composition. Looks like Haru might be coming in for the second game. Haru, as I see them here, is actually a substitute player for Team Death Knights Blue. So with them switching sides, let me switch sides myself here on our scoreboard. Because both these teams are playing 1 game from each side in this game. But Haru actually looks like they are going to be subbing in for ADC, replacing the great performance that we saw from... who was that? That was Wee. Dorwee. Yeah, the ADC did a great job. Oh, it sounds like the link might have bugged out, so we will actually be getting a new draft link. But way to go, Team Death Knights Blue. They got a big roster. They got players on their sub roster that we're not even going to see this evening. But maybe after that first game, again, they do not have their starting ADC in. That's Diamond, is a Diamond 1 ADC. So again, game 1 was played from Dorwee. Looks like game 2 from Haru now. And that is the only change. Oh. I think the draft link worked, and we are into the second draft ban. TDKB now on the opposite side, Ban LeBlanc on the red side. Team Death Knights so far not shaking up any of their changes, but immediately Ban LeBlanc taking Shyvana off the table. Last game, they really targeted this ADC pool, but with the new ADC in, I mean, that frees up the Neela ban, that frees up the Samira ban. Meanwhile, Team Death Knights, back to those last 2 champions they started with, both the Heimerdinger and the Fiora. I do kind of expect to see a Hecarim maybe as their 3rd ban, and it looks like that will be locked. Meanwhile, 3 champions that we saw in the last game pick for either team. Ban LeBlanc saying we don't get first pick, so we actually can't take this Seraphine. So they're going to ban that away, as well as 2 champions that were incredibly dominant in that last game, being the Varus. Even though Dorwee's not going to be piloting this game, still a champion they're afraid of, as well as that Shyvana. But again, Silas now, that was something that actually Ban LeBlanc took away on the ban table in the first 3. But hey, they felt like they had more important things they had to ban. So Because of that, it is going to be a Sylas first pick. Team Death Knights, I do expect to see Shri Sai picking that up in the mid lane this game. Sylas is not known to be one of the best just blind champions, so it definitely has a level of comfort on it. But now already it gives Ban LeBlanc, like, you have to be thinking about the ultimates that you're going to be giving Sylas. I honestly would have liked to see the Udyr response, and maybe it's just not something that Ban LeBlanc feels comfortable that they have in their wheelhouse potentially. It feels like their jungler Elysium, if they played it, that would have been a great option because you want to be aware that you're also needing to deny Sylas good ultimates. But instead, looks like some pick potential here. Ashes and Enchanted Crystal Arrow can be great for getting some long-range snipes. It does look like their support player, Saber's waifu, back to locking the Maokai. Early on in Worlds meta, we saw a lot of handshake Maokai Sylas. Felt like one team picks Maokai and the other just picks Sylas to have a better Maokai ultimate. This game, though, Team Death Knights opting to just take away both of those picks and pairing it with a Sivir as a response to Ashe. I mean, Sivir having really high prio in this series, both as a response, first into Varus, now into Ashe. Can also be actually a really great answer into the Vi ultimate. Timed properly, you can actually stop the cease and desist on Vi. Using that spell shield at the right time. Now Irelia is going to be the third pickup. Team Death Knights actually banned this away in the last game. So that's why Ban LeBlanc is saying, we actually need to grab it earlier in this rotation. And so that's going to be their third pick. Likely means Team Death Knight is going to ban away support pairings or potentially a mid or top laner. Still a little bit unclear on what they're going to be looking for here in the second half of bans. Syndra taken away as a ban. Ban LeBlanc played it. Their top laner Control was the one to pilot that in the last game here. But it looks like Trinimal does have quite a bit of Irelia. And it's kind of recently here. So I do expect Trinimal to be the one piloting that Irelia champion. In 2022 is their third most played. However, their stats were not great on it. It was Caitlyn, Lucian, Irelia. The Tranimal in season 2022, 13 and 22. A 37% win rate on this champion, which is not great if that's what you're kind of looking for. Also a 1.49 KDA. Oof, 8, 4, and 6. Oh, sorry, 5.9, 7, and 4. So on average going 6, 7, and 4 each game across their 35 games. But hey, in this best of 2 block, they decide that's their champion they want to go for. So these bans, like I was anticipating, going toward the support pool. The second one being a Yasuo pickup. Yasuo known actually to be a pretty good counter for Irelia. Kind of dash through it. Also the wind wall blocking key ultimates like the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Karma's the last ban to match some of that poking that Ashe is known to provide in the bot lane. Brand hover, and it is going to be brand locked in. Not going to have quite the same burn ability that we saw the Shyvana have in the first game, but another champion that's got some fire they're going to be laying onto the Rift. I now expect this to see likely in Control's pocket. Control picking the brand, likely going mid. And then having their the Tranimal piloting the Irelia down the top lane. Warwick is going to be the answer. Warwick, again, not something we've really seen at the highest level. Not really a champion. Feels like it has some solo queue niches. There's a couple of high-level kind of Warwick one-trick players floating around Challenger, but not a super common champion, and neither really for Elysium. So they've shown a lot of other things. The Wukong Divide is another piece of something that they've liked. I do realize that actually that's Cypher Soul going to be piloting that Wukong here. So I mean, the Vi is definitely comfort for Elysium for sure. But last season, not too much Warwick kind of shown, like at all. So even in all of 2022 in ranked, I mean, Cypher is not pulled it out. But in the second game, that is going to be their pick. Oh, and actually, Alistar now. I said from the very beginning, I was thinking it was going to be Saber's waifu pulling out the Maokai once again. But with Alistar being locked in on B5, that actually kind of shows that flex. Now I'm expecting to actually see the Maokai going top lane. Feels like it's an okay matchup into Irelia. Can just kind of tank out some of the early aggression. And actually sending Alistar into the bot lane to pair up with Sivir. Alistar is actually a very interesting one-mode champion that you don't see played very, very often once again. It is an all-in, go-go, frontline, engage, go-go gadget Alistar ultimate, you know? Like, it's that kind of uh, champion because, I mean, you gotta land the headbutt pulverize combo, and it's gotta get onto a immobile carry, but they got a couple of those for Ban LeBlanc. The Ashe, the Brand, both these characters that want to stand still and do nothing. So honestly, I think it's a pretty smart response to say, well, we're going to go in on you. We can flash in, get those combos, lock you down, knock you up, let the team follow along. So we'll have to see if that means that that Ban LeBlanc will be able to be mobile enough in these fights to not get locked down from some of those hard CC they've drafted. I'm also always curious as I look at Sylas on the opposite end. Who are these ultimates that Sylas is going to have to choose from? Remember, Sylas' ultimates, he gets to grab any of those 5 ultimates that Ban LeBlanc's team has. Cease and Desist, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You know, you got, is it Emulate as well on Brand, the Cannon Barrage, right? None of these ultimates seem like game-changing ultimates. You think of things like something like a Karthus ultimate that's so good for Sylas, a Mumu for the Engage. Right? Some of these ultimates that they're just known for being so good for Sylas. I mean, granted, Brand ult I think is going to be pretty solid. Cannon Barrage, even Enchanted Crystal Arrow has some opportunities to be successful here. Especially because the scaling on Sylas when he grabs ultimate is based on his own scaling for the AP. So, I mean, Sylas can actually do quite a bit of damage because that AP ratio on Ashe's ultimate is pretty high. So we'll have to see in these team fights. I'm going to be paying attention to the selection that Sylas chooses in these fights. Which ultimate will he be reaching for? Knowing there is a cooldown on each of them here. But I like the go button. The Sivir Maokai combo, when you got that on the hunt and you have the Nature's Grasp just running at you, it's like if you got a couple angles coming into the team fight, I mean, it can be really challenging to fight against that. But I think you have to be really afraid or be at least aware if you're a Team Death Knights that you don't want to approach fights linearly. That means like front to back, running straight at them. Because you can kind of just kite them out if you're Ashe, right? Throw down some of those threaded volleys, get a little bit of those slows going down. Brand can poke. So if you can't actually catch these members here, it actually looks like Brand support now. Okay. If you can't actually catch these members, then they're just going to be able to walk away. So not quite as much stand your ground. So we'll have to see if they can get different angles. I want to see Team Death Knights approaching fights, maybe like a Maokai over the wall, and then have, you know, a flank from Alistar or from Warwick to lock down some of these carries. Because just to run straight at you, unless they're fast enough, which they might be, it's going to be a little bit hard to lock these champions down. So anyways, I feel like I've talked enough about what these compositions are looking to do. We are on just the precipice of a short spectator delay. On the other side of this 3-minute delay and a little bit of change, we will be getting into the second of 2 games between Team Death Knights Blue and Ban LeBlanc. Stay where you're at. We'll see you in just a moment. We are getting onto the Rift for game number 2 of this 2-block series between Team Death Knights Blue and Ban LeBlanc. Looked like maybe a little bit of an early invade, but is going to get sniffed out. Ultimately, looks like not too much action here in this early game. Oh, Tranimal is going to get that first move. Tranimal opting to go back to the Gangplank. I thought maybe that Irelia might have been theirs, but it is going to be control piloting the Irelia in this game. Tranimal seemed to have a great performance there in game 1 on the Gangplank, so... Again, Haru coming in as the marksman for Team Death Knights Blue in the second game. I'm excited to see can Elysium get on the map and have success early. Again, another thing to note is actually Cypher Soul opting not for the Warwick, but for the Maokai here in the second game. Maokai jungle, the Warwick going top lane. Shen's has really been liking some of these off-meta top lane champions. First game opted for the Akshan as that last pick. In this game, the Warwick top lane. Interesting pick. And now, as expected, the range versus melee matchup bot lane is favoring the ranged matchup. Tank Muffin and Tail Whip doing their great job to harass in the mid lane. Look at that. Tank Muffin just unrelenting, smacking with auto attacks. Doing some huge damage there. Oh, looks like a little bit losing matchup. Both junglers don't have too much action here as we look at getting into this game here. Some of these level 6s I think are going to be pretty key for both of these teams. They want to see something happen a little bit later on. Oh, but flash forward from Saber Waifu, knocking the tower, Tail Whip's ignited. Has to use both summoners, but an amazing play from Saber Waifu gets first blood. Yeah, you got the harass, you get the poke, but they don't get the kill. Tail Whip overplayed their hand there, lost both summoners and their life on the back end of it. Gotta give credit to Saber's Waifu for finding that angle. Great play from the Alistar to make that happen. Caught me off guard and caught Tail Whip off guard too. Just talking about having no action, but amazing play under tower on that crashing wave. Junglers have just taken the opposite Scuttlecraft. Cypher Soul's hovering around here. Shreeside trading aggressively onto him. Shen's also just auto-attacking Tranimal under tower. This Warwick is known to be great at just healing up, and look at those chomps keeping them alive. Cypher Soul's putting a lot of time in this mid lane here. Maybe trying to bait the 2v2. Elysium does not seem to be falling for it. Without knowledge on where the jungler is, there's not going to be a play. But now, just as Cypher Soul's leaving, here comes Elysium. It is looking like they're going to be able to dodge the gank out. 2v2 just jockeying for positioning, but now this wave is coming into Shreeside. Shreeside can hold this out of tower. Looks like they're going to be able to. It's going to be a really difficult matchup. Oh. But with Cypher Soul actually throwing that sapling there into the bush, it actually did not give the freeze that Shreeside wanted. Interestingly enough, Cypher Soul has opted to go actually the red smite that's known as Scorch Claw Pup Typically, we see that green smite, the Moss Stomper Seedling, being the most common jungle item, nearly to a fault. Just felt like it has outperformed both the blue and the red smite here. But, I mean, in this kind of game, maybe you're looking for some of that poke here. The Scorchclaw Pup, when that is fully grown, the companion will periodically imbue your next damaging effect to slow and damage enemy champions. So that's going to provide an additional slow on top of those sapling tosses, as well as give some additional damage. So it might be looking for some of that sapling poke. Looks like the max for this Maokai is going to be going into the Bramble Smash on their Q. Oh, but in the bot lane! Pick up on the Tank Muff and get the trade back here. Now Haru does get a trade kill, but the Ignite and the auto attack, Tank Muffin picks up them both in the bot lane. Saber Waifu playing too aggressively down there. And without the flash, without the ability to make a play happen, did end up falling. Shen's just life-stealing their way out of this lane. Up in farm and Shrisai, happy to trade into that melee matchup mid. Is level 6 as well. If they can get the Vanguard's edge from Irelia, might spell disaster, but Control needs to pick up this next wave, farm up safely, and hit that level 6 themselves. But Shrisai wants to go under tower, might not be enough. There's going to be some immune damage. Vanguard's edge is flashed from Shrisai. Buddy, you do not have enough lethal damage for that. Oh, Saber's Waifu once again caught out. No ultimate. Elysian doesn't have theirs either. Cannon Barrage is going to slow them down. The heal from Haru committed. Saber's Waifu lives. But now they're not in the best position. Saber's Waifu just got that flash off a cooldown here. Control does get the stun. Great job to get the second Q. A couple more autos will do it, but Shrisai jumps away and lives. Control trying to take control of the mid lane, forcing Shrisai to reset. Did a great job with those blade surges, getting the stun. But it was not enough for the kill. Even landing the flawless duet did not secure them their first kill of this game. Control has been known to get solo kills. We saw in that first game. Got 2 solo kills onto Shen's. That was a Syndra into Akshan. In this game so far, though, 0-0 in the mid lane. Lots of goose eggs. Saber's Waifu trying to get some poke down. But look at that damage. Saber's Waifu goes in. Does have the flash available. Ignite down. Tank Muffin. One more will do it. Saber Waifu perfectly calculates the damage. Flashes into the bush to safety. Flash out from Tailwhip. Followed from Haru. Haru. One more blade will get the double kill. Haru playing a great response of Saber Waifu's engage. Well played. Once again, Saber's Waifu is dominating this support matchup, it feels like. Just some great back-to-back plays when that flash was available. Not only is that 2 kills, but they deny this wave. They crash the cannon wave, and they get 2 plates off the back of it. That's a huge gold swing for Team Death Knights Blue in the second game of this best-of-2 block. Tank Muffin trying to catch out Saber's Waifu from resetting. Oh, but Saber's Waifu was hidden, knocked back, pushed away. The Ignite, the ultimate, another double kill for the brand. Cypher Soul is here. It is going to use the Nature's Grasp. Enchanted Crystal Arrow gets him knocked down. Tank Muffin now went too far this season to stops the kill from coming through. That went from bad to worse. Saber's Waifu thought that they had the upper hand on Tank Muffin, but Tank Muffin turned that around, hit that Pyroclasm and picked up the double kill. Now 4 of the 5 kills for Band LeBlanc are on this support brand. They got it shut down. They got the gold. They're the support, but they're going to be the ones trying to carry the second game. Next flash from Saber's Waifu looking to trade. The Vanguard's edge is stolen. Control looking to get out, but misses the flash and misses their life for it. That's Control's first death, and the kill was not even needed to be assisted from Saber's Waifu. Ultimately, just a solo kill into Shrisai's pocket there after the failed flash away from Control. We didn't see that control, don't worry. These teams not afraid to scrap in the second game, keeping it close, keeping it tight, keeping it aggressive. There's honestly some great scaling options from the Gangplank here. It's kind of the best scaling I'm seeing out of these 10 champions. Maokai can also become a menace. I mean, Shen's just toying around low health, but perfectly spacing those auto attacks. Tranimal not having any of it. Saber's waifu is now level 6. But without more of those boomerang blades landing, there might not be enough damage. Cypher Soul is here, and the Nature's Grasp is back up. A little bit of a telegraph play using that pink ward aggressively in the lane. Let's see if it's sniffed out here. Some pings coming down. Shrisai is spotted. Saber's waifu does have that ultimate available. Unbreakable Will is going to deny so much potential damage, nearly 60% of physical damage from towers. They gotta know he's down here. Look at this. Control's moved to join it. This is going to be the crashing wave. They might look to dive on it. Oh, Control's maybe still looking for the play. Spotted now. Here comes the ultimate on the hunt. Is going through. Chanting Crystal Arrow is going to go wide. But dive under tower and down goes Tail Whip. And now looks like Take Muffin the next to fall a second. Control is here and the teleport is as well. Vanguard's Edge is not alive and all 4 members trying to run Elysian. Going deep. Saber's waifu pushed down and knocked down as well. Elysium is going to fall themselves. Traminal taking down an extra one. And Control might not be done yet. Cypher Soul and Haru down to the last 2 members. 2 have fallen, 2 are left. But Tranimal and Control might not be able to continue this fight. Ultimately, that teleport was used from Tranimal to match that play. Ultimately resulted, I believe, in a 2-4-2. Shrisai actually fell there. And might have given, does not look like, oh, does, yeah, Sivir picked up a actual shutdown on Brand. And Brand picked up a shutdown on Sivir. So it did go both ways there. Some more gold into Brand's pocket here. 4,300 gold. Actually the most gold member on all of Ban LeBlanc's team, but there's still members like this Warwick who's absolutely farming up a storm in the top lane. Shen's 2-2-3 in this matchup, 112 to 81 farm. Just been absolutely smacking around Tranimal in the top lane. Shrisai now trying to catch out Elysium. The ultimate's available, which means the cease and desist could be his. Chanted Crystal Arrow from downtown snipes out Shrisai. But the chase is going to continue because the Nature's Grasp has landed. Shrisai does not care if it's under tower. They wanted the kill. But now Tranimal is here, and that's going to be a double kill responded. As well as in the bot lane, Haru falls across the board. It is win after win, all for Ban LeBlanc. Yeah, you killed Elysium and you might have denied their red buff take, but it did not do enough. Saber's waifu now forced to try to farm under tower. Tank Muffin, the rich get richer SMH. Now over 5,000 gold on this Brand. Plates have fallen. This game is close. Still a slight deficit for Ban LeBlanc, but not nearly as bad as it was. Warwick trading aggressively, has the infinite duress, but does not plan to use it. Especially being low mana. Elysium hovering around topside. Cease and desist is available. There might be a dive angle. But looks like they are just going to walk away. Next, Dragon is hitting the Rift in 30 seconds. This would be the second for Ban LeBlanc if they can claim it. The first for Team Death Knights. Elysium does claim that red buff after dying to it the last time when Cypher Soul ran over there with Shrisai. But now look at all these red members. The pings coming down around the second dragon in 10 seconds. Haru trying to maintain bot lane control. Shrisai's still not afraid to trade aggressively, but really just wants the wave. They are going to pick it up, but are still down farm in the mid lane. Warwick without teleport is forced to roam down, and Tranimal doesn't have theirs either. This is going to be a 5v5. This is going to be the fight. On the hunt goes through. Oh, flash out, but it's followed. Cease and desist now goes in, but the team's not anywhere around. Elysium needs to run, and they do. Tank Muffin now. There goes the Pyroclasm. Will it be enough to kill Saber's waifu? But they are forced to flash out. All 10 members still alive on the Rift. The Dragon is yet to be started. Both teams jockeying for position. But ultimates across the board are down. Cease and desist, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, as well as the Pyroclasm, all have fallen. Oh, Control now, waiting in the wings. Are they going to be able to get onto Shen's 2-2-3? But here comes the Infinite Duress. The flanking angle, so much damage, but not enough. It was one at a time. The team was not coordinated, and Ban LeBlanc gets the Dragon and gets 2 more. It felt like there was not a fight that Team Death Knights wanted to just give up with all 10 members still alive on the Rift. I mean, even looking at Infinite Duress, they stayed alive for just a while, but I mean, Sri Sai tried to get a flank, but the team was not healthy enough to follow. There was a item lead there for Haruharu in the marksman role, but they were not able to use that lead more than just using the On the Hunt to speed up the team. So that was actually a great play there. And now for the first time in this game, a gold advantage for Ban LeBlanc. The first time they've had a gold lead in this entire series. Up just about 600 gold, so only a couple kills worth. But the kills are going to the right members. Take a look at Control there. We saw that Control did so well at getting solo kills. This is a player, especially on a champion like Irelia, that I want to see able to have more agency in these team fights to carry them here. They have the completed Blade of the Ruined King. And look at this, already onto the bot lane here. They're way stronger than Sri Sai now in the bot lane. Flash away from Sri Sai. Flash forward from Control. The Vanguard's edge is going to be stopwatch. Control, maybe not able to get it. Now Sri Sai going to try to turn the kill. Top lane, there's another fight. Will they be enough to kill Elysium? Does not look like it. Shen's 2-3, Infinite Duress almost heals through, but it is not. It is going to be Sri Sai picking up Irelia in the bot side. Control falls, but 2 members, Shen's and Saber, die. For Team Death Knights, ultimately another advantage once again for Team Death Knight, or for Ban LeBlanc. But I mean, ultimately, Team Death Knights did get the shutdown. Irelia fell. That's their second death of the game, and a 400 bonus bounty to Silas. That was not the final play you wanted to see happening bot lane. It looked like Control had full control of that play, but a great stopwatch under tower kept Sri Sai alive. And then they got their return kill themselves, and oh, felt like a pretty critical error from Control, a player that I needed to see stepping up in the series. Gold lead is still incredibly close here. We saw what Sri Sai can do with an advantage, but they have not really had the same advantage this game. Saber's waifu looking for those engagements, but now might be too far caught out. Team is not close. He is alone, and he has fallen. Saber was not on the same page as their team in that fight. Shen's is in the area, but it feels like these are just solo target that you can't really force in. Sri Sai decides to grab the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, looking to try to get a pick. Oh, here comes Nature's Grasp to try to deny. Okay. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, but Ban LeBlanc is undeterred. They're diving towers. They get 1. Pyroclasm getting 2. Sri Sai forced to run. No stopwatch, no Everfrost, no tower to stand behind. Once again, Ban LeBlanc unrelenting with his pressure in the mid lane. Get the tower, get the kills, get the gold. They are now in a almost 4,000 gold lead in the second game. With those kills and the extra pressure, that also means that Ban LeBlanc is doing a great job at denying the jungle camps from the enemy. They've walked in there, taken the blue buff. Elysium has claimed that for themselves now. Sri Sai desperately trying to get that second completed item, being the Zonias, to keep them alive a little bit longer in these fights. But look at the range. 4 of the 5 members from Team Death Knights are melee champions. The Warwick, Maokai, Silas, and Alistar. Your only range in this entire team composition is the Sivir. And if you are sitting as a Ban LeBlanc here and you have champions like the Brand and the Ashe who like to poke and can try to get some of this damage down, That is a great spot to be in. Already Tank Shred being completed. Vi has the Divine Sunderer. The Blade of the Ruined King on control as well. I mean, basically what it means is your engage has to be perfect if you're Team Death Knights, especially when you're not ahead anymore. Otherwise, we're going to see what happened like with Saber there. Where you go in, you try to get to engage, but the team is nowhere near able to help at all. Again, Shen's still has a little bit of a gold lead in the bot lane, but a 0-3 and 0 in that gold lead with Tranimal having the Gangplank and that extra gold they get from the Silver Serpents is actually going to give so much more advantage now to this Gangplank and Tranimal. 1, 0, and 9 having huge impact. Meanwhile, Shen's 0, 3, and 0. Next Dragon has hit the Rift. It would be the third one for Ban LeBlanc if they can claim it. And you know that Team Death Knights is not just going to hand it to them. They need a fight here. But what is the angle? What is the approach? Where's the flank war? There's one on the blue buff. Will Shri Sai look for it? Dragon's already been started here. Down to 9,000. Shri Sai's got to go where they got to give it. But it looks like the call is just to give. Southling Tosh is to poke. Instead, they just trade for the mid tower. Now Haru needs to run through the cannon barrage to try to escape. Being so patient, holding that. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. Great play. Patience from Tail Whip to get the last auto and pick up the kill. Now a killing spree for Tail Whip. Yes, they got the outer tower, but it cost their life. Shen's now trading aggressively under control, but Vanguard's Edge is going to land. The Infinite Duress is still available. If they get it, it might be enough. Couple more chomps in control is slain and falls for the third time. Saber's waifu might be out of position now. Can the team try to help him out? Cypher Soul has the Nature's Grasp. Will likely use it through this choke. There it goes, but here's the cease and desist. Man, another kill over to Ban LeBlanc. 2,000 gold, nearly 3,000. The Baron is now started. Shen's with that solo kill in the bot lane will just continue to split push. And now it's up to Cypher Soul and Shri Sai. Can they look to contest this here? Nature's Grasp is not available. Shri Sai does have the cease and desist. It's stolen by ultimate. Cypher Soul has a flash, has a smite. Is going to look for the steal. 39. It's secured. Shri Sai does get a shutdown on a brand, but Cypher Soul does not get the Baron claimed and secured from Ban LeBlanc's side. And a great secure from Tink Muffin before they hit the ground. That Baron was down to 39 health. And ultimately, I think it was a tick from Brand there. Their burn actually secured it. So barely missed time from Cypher Soul looking for the steal. It was very, very close here. But the Baron ultimately is claimed from Ban LeBlanc. The gold lead still tight. Just 3,000 at this point at 23 minutes in. And Scaling starting to come online now. Tranimal with 2 items completed and 3 of those crit cloaks have hit their 60% crit strike magic number here on this champion here. 85% crit strike. Remember that Navori Quick Blades actually increases the abilities damage by additional 17%, which is increased based on that critical strike chance. So because of that crit strike chance, those barrels, those parlays, those are going to be hitting for way more. Now let's have to see, what does Ban LeBlanc do with this Baron buff? They currently have only claimed 2 towers, with the bot outer tower still standing. No inner towers, so we have to see how can they siege these inner towers. Oh, but Tailwhip might be caught out of position. Saber's waifu gets the knockup, but has no follow once again. Saber is getting the knockups, is getting the pulverizes, but does not have the team. Shri Sai is hovering around, but 1v3 again. Shri Sai, no team. Crystal Arrow lands, and here's the Pyroclasm once again. The stopwatch is just going to burn a little bit of time. The flash away. Flash follow from Animal to secure the kill. Shen's has cut out control. Infinite Duress is available. Now here's Saber's waifu. How much can you burn on control? Flash away. Now there's the Infinite Duress to pick up the kill, but now Shen's is in trouble. Flashes away. Oh, flash follow from Vi. Will they be able to get the last Q? They do, but Shen's is healing like a monster through. Elysium is going to pick up the kill, though, but now they're in a 1v3. The team is nowhere close. Tank Muffin is now in the area. Elysium runs out to safety. The inner tower bot lane falls as well. If you are the side of Ban LeBlanc, you are still happy with how that fight went. Both these teams feeling like they're playing very scattered in this team fights. Neither team really convincingly playing as a 5v5. First it was Saber going in 1v3. No team, even though they got the knockup. Then Shri Sai playing on the flank, but then getting spotted out. And then Control. They were the one that got caught out. Elysium picks up a kill, but then they barely escape themselves. These teams are not playing as 5, and it feels like all these fights are just scattered and all over the place. It is now less than a minute until this dragon hits the rift. This would be the sole dragon if Ban LeBlanc can claim it. But like I said, with 4 melee champions, if you are the side of Team Death Knights, you gotta go, and Saber is doing just that on a tank Muffin, but he has both summoner spells. Yes, you're taking up so much of that extra health with Unbreakable Will, but that will is broken. Now Haru in trouble. Cease and desist lands. One more will do it. Shri Sai is the third, and now last 2 members are Cypher and Shen's. But still 5 members alive. Tranimal is online, and look at those barrels. Just chunking down the last remaining members of Team Death Knights. The inner tower has fallen. It was just 2 towers, and now it is 5. Only the top inner being the last standing. Shen's trying to run for their life, but they're running slowly. The Rylai slow from Tank Muffin will keep Shen's just waddling back, trying to defend the base and lick his wounds here. Okay, Ban LeBlanc has taken the inhibitor. Meanwhile, Elysium claimed the soul for their team. 4 dragons to 0. The Cloud Soul now in their possession. Next dragon that hits the rift in 6 minutes is going to be the Elder, but an amazing soul. After using your ultimate, you're going to get that burst of movement speed if you are Ban LeBlanc. So if I look at these champions like the Pyroclasm, like the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, even the Cease and Desist, even Cannon Barrage, all of these ultimates are so good for this Cloud Soul. Because it just gives you so much opportunity to just force once you use your abilities, which is what these teams want to do. They're scouting out the area carefully. It looks like now Shen's might be in trouble as no teleport, does not have a flash, has the infinite duress, but does not have the movement speed. They got to know every member is here. What's the response? Shen's certainly going to fall. Infinite duress is going to buy a moment of time. But all 5 members contributed in Shen's death there. Yes, Shri Sai has a flank in the bot lane and has a wave pushing. Are going to get inner tower, so that's an objective bounty. But you cannot play the base race game against Ban LeBlanc at this point. Haru's going to shove out a wave with Saber's waifu, but they got to get back to defend and quick. That last remaining tower outside of base is going to fall. Shri Sai opts not to go back either. Instead, trades on a Tranimal. Tranimal has to flash. Enchanted Crystal Arrow did land, and now the 3 members from Ban LeBlanc are still going to play the split push game. Now Control just looking to stop the bases, delay the recalls, get those backs as long as possible. 2 members able to get back. Shri Sai and Cypher Soul are there. Respawn from Shen's. The inhibitor falls. That's their 2nd inhibitor now in their base that they've claimed. Ban LeBlanc, only the bot lane inhibitor spawning, but their sights are onto the Baron. Methodically clearing out this vision. All 5 members are there. Cypher Soul again has the flash, has the smite, but they gotta get there quickly. Ping's already down, but it's burn, and it's gonna be claimed. This Baron, 2nd one of the game, claimed by Ban LeBlanc, and they are in such a great position to close out this game. The Baron is up, the items are completed. We take a look now across the board, and it feels like still maximum. Finally, 3 items for Haru. But that's about your strongest member on this team. Yes, Silas got a little bit more gold, has the Void Staff, but without a Death Cap, without a 4th item, they will not be able to do enough damage here. Gangplank also online, 3 items plus 2 of those Cloaks of Agility. That has given Tranimal 90% critical strike chance, and Cypher Soul forced to flash out. Cypher, what are you doing, buddy? You can't be there. Getting picked off one at a time. Shen's trying to make it happen. But again, the team is not here. Sri Sai is nowhere to be found. What are you doing? Shen's got to know the game is over. Saber feels the same way. Two members were not even in that fight. They are not playing as a team. Three members now dead. Death timers, 30 seconds for all of them. All 5 members from Band LeBlanc are pushing into the base with 2 inhibitors down. Only Haru and Sri Sai to try to hold the wave. Yeah, you got the summoners on Ash, but it's not going to be enough. Sri Sai forced under their tower. The wave is here, and so is Band LeBlanc. Elysium going for it. There goes the cease and desist. Locked onto Haru. Forced to flash under tower, but the Guardian Angel will make sure they do not die. There goes the Nexus. Towers in the Nexus afterwards. Band LeBlanc with an amazing Game 2 victory to close out this series 1-1. Ultimately, that Game 2 was a great reset and bounce back for the side of BL. Band LeBlanc was able to be successful here in the second game in this series. Remember, this was just a 2-block. So unfortunately, we do not get to see a best of 3 between these two teams. But after this series, it did feel like it was a close back and forth throughout the entire series here. The fact that both teams were able to score a win for their respective players there. Ultimately, I gotta fault the draft a little bit there from Team Death Knights Blue. I think drafting 4 melee characters here is not necessarily the best option. 1-1. I got you, Tank Muffin. Don't want to deny that one from you. Tank Muffin coming in here clutch after the 1-1. Right. Really a great performance there from the brand in that performance. Tank Muffin, 30,000 damage, the most in the game on this brand. 11, 3, and 15 here. Gotta give credit, though, all of Band LeBlanc for rebounding the second game here. Tranimal was deathless in that game here. Soaked up a lot of pressure from Shens. And, I think Team Death Knights just did really not play very cohesively, did not play as a team in that second game. Their draft didn't make too much sense compositionally because you're 4 melee, and there wasn't really a great way to hard force there. You had the Warwick, you had something like Nature's Grasp. Like I said, if you just approach linearly, there was so little they could do with having those 4 melee champions, and Ash and Brand did a great job at cutting them out, though. So, at the end of the series, it is 1-1. Tranimal saying that game 1 was the most frustrating thing I've ever played against. They immediately took away the Shyvana in that first game. Tranimal, I feel ya. I can see and understand why. But a great response in game 2. So that's going to do it for us. Remember, this is just a 2-game block. There's no best of 3 in this series. So congratulations to both teams for picking up 1 game each. And that's going to do it for this evening. So thank you all for hanging out with me here as I solo casted this 2-game block between Team Death Knights Blue and Band LeBlanc for Style Esports Season 14. My name is Llama, and I'll catch you on Wednesday. I'll be back. Take care.